The Boys, episode 7, the penultimate episode for this season. I feel like it came and went. It did not. I mean, it's 8 episodes, and I know that's not a lot, but still it lasted longer than the first season because that all dropped at once. It just feels like we just got this show and now it's leaving. I'm pretty sad about that. I really am, just because I want more of this in my life. It's just a nice, solid show that I'm enjoying, and I want to have more of this. And I'm glad we're getting another season. I'm glad we're getting a spin-off. I want more of this show. I really enjoyed this episode. I think there was a big theme throughout it, and it was like, aside from a couple, I think like episode 3 or 4, which was like all about love and how nobody can really be happy in their love, this episode is all about the relationship between a father and his son, and just kind of parents in general, but you see a lot of it with the father and son aspect and how certain people connected to that, and I think that was a very important theme. A very cool theme. You could see even like some analog characters that could be considered a father figure for some of them were a big part of this. I enjoyed this episode. It ended on some great cliffhangers. It set up a lot of cool stuff going forward, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So our big thing here was, we have Lamplighter on our side now. We are going to use him to testify against the actions of Vought, and we have to keep him safe so nothing happens to him. But as this is going on, Mr. Butcher gets a call from his mother because his mother is there with his father and they've come to America to talk to him. So he just kind of walks off randomly, and it's like, okay, I understand the need to establish more of Butcher in his kind of past. I think that's an interesting angle. I kind of also like the idea, though, that Butcher is this mysterious figure that doesn't really have a history. I'm okay doing both. I think it's important to have both. I like seeing that we're getting some more stuff with Butcher here. It works for me. I think it really does work. We see kind of like the strained relationship with his family and how he doesn't like his father. His father and his mother kind of talk about Lenny and how, Lenny never really got a chance to live his own life and was always in like just kind of never really could be everything they want him to be. Kind of same with Butcher, how he kind of fell back to this lifestyle. And Jonathan Noble, his dad, I mean, that makes sense to me. What a great casting. Just a nice character actor you could throw in there to have in just a nice small role like this. It works really well. Watch that scene with Butcher and his father. And watch Karl Urban, because what he's doing in that scene is incredible. Just watch the way his eyes move, the way his facial expression changes with each pressing moment. This was, I think, Karl Urban's best acting job on the show. Every scene he was in, he made the right facial cues. Everything he did was so perfect, so intense and insane. You really felt Butcher here doesn't want to be happy in this situation. He's got too much going on. He'll never let himself be happy. The way he talks to his family, the way he talked to his father specifically, the way he talked to Jonah, it's just like, this guy's insane. He's kind of unhinged. I love it. Great stuff with Butcher there. Just watch his eyes. I'm telling you, I'll put up a screen cap of his eyes from one of the scenes. Just watch his performance in this show, in this episode specifically. It's insane. Literally insane. It's so good. That's part of the father-son dynamic right there of this episode of those characters. And we get another one too when it comes to the character of Lamplighter. He is just kind of in the safe house and he's just watching porn, which I think it's funny because you're like, of course there's superhero porn. We have that in our real world. In this one, of course it's going to be amplified. He just doesn't give a shit. He knows if he goes to testify, he is going to die. And they're going to kill him and do something to him, so he's just like, I don't care anymore, I'll just sit here and do what I can, let life happen. You got Shawn Ashmore, you're doing some great stuff with him, great episode for him too, just really intense stuff. And as that's going on, there's kind of like this press junket that Stormfront and Homelander are giving, and Huey is watching him, so it's Huey and Lamplighter watching this newscast that Stormfront and Homelander are doing, and they're talking about how like there was a rat in the Seven, and it was Starlight, so they have her locked up, which we see at the beginning of the episode. And I really like that too, where you just see like the flickering lights when she's like locked up, and she's trying to figure out how she can get the power to her. That was pretty intense. And Huey, of course, being the guy he is, he's like, I gotta go save her. So Huey takes Lamplighter, they're gonna go to Vought, and they're gonna free Starlight. But when they get there, you get another great moment about a son connecting to his father, and you have Lamplighter who's just kind of looking at the statue of the Seven and how he's no longer a part of that, and he's just talking to himself like, all I wanted to do was make my father proud. And of course, maybe he did, maybe he didn't, we don't really know, but then he just burns himself to death. And I'm like, that was very surprising. I didn't expect it to go that route. I liked that it went there because you're expecting one thing with this character and just flips it on his head. I think that's really cool, really interesting, a dynamic you probably weren't expecting. And it's intense. He doesn't scream. He doesn't say anything. He just burns into flame and dies. And Huey's like, are you fucking kidding me? Really? You had to do this right now. I couldn't even free Starlight. You got to be kidding me. But luckily, he can still access the security panels as lamplighter. So Huey rips off his hand in a really intense scene. And he kind of runs down the halls and sees that Starlight freed herself, but he frees Starlight's mom. So those people, they're on their own mission now, trying to get out of here. Really cool. Really fun stuff. There was just so much in this episode that's just so intense and so over the top. We don't get a lot with Kimiko and Frenchie in this episode, but they have a little moment where like Frenchie's just connecting about how, I guess, did he bring up his father? I can't remember. He brought up a part of his life and how like he wanted to connect to people and how he was like happy in his past. I think it was his mother's like food or something, or how she would always cook for him. But they do have a little moment where she shows him some of like her sign language, which is just a cute little moment. Cary Fukuhara, I love her. She's doing great. Very fantastic in here. And of course, we kind of get another great moment here where we have another father figure make an appearance. Jonah is returning. We saw him in a previous season, and he's the surrogate father pretty much to Homelander. And they're kind of talking to him about, you can go against Vought. We have Melk and the Colonel show up, and there's like, we can go against Vought. We could use your help. I know they kicked you out. You know more than anybody about what's going on here. Please help us. And he doesn't. He says he's not going to help them. And as they're exiting his house, there's a nice moment there too, where even the Colonel's talking to Melk like, you're never going to get the justice you want. You're never going to get to be happy. Just go be with your kids and your wife. Go be the father. And he chooses he's going to stay here because he wants to see it through. Again, another thing with fathers. It's all about fathers in this episode. I think that's a really cool angle, especially when it comes to superhero comics, because fathers play such a prominent role in superhero comics. Look at, John Kent, look at Jor-El even, Thomas Wayne, Uncle Ben. Fathers play a prominent role in comic books, so having that here, you're like, yeah, of course. And I think that it's just a really nice moment with all that, and it's a really great moment too, because after the Colonel and Melk leave, guess who comes to visit Jonah? It's Butcher. And again, those eyes, that expression, he's doing some crazy shit here. Very intense. And he kind of bullies Jonah into testifying because they find out that they lose Lamplighter because he killed himself. And I'm just like, that is so good. That's awesome. Butcher just quietly, subtly hints at like, if you don't do this, I'm going to kill your family. I'm going to kill your kids. I'm going to kill your grandkids. So just do it. And you just see he's drinking that tea, just looking straight at Jonah. It's such an intense, powerful moment. It is so good. So good. And you're just like, that's scary. I love it a lot. It's just very scary. And then we do get some moments with the Seven here. We get some stuff with Queen Maeve, which I'm really excited we're finally getting some stuff with Queen Maeve come the end of this. She is, so her girlfriend left her. Now she's kind of all alone. She's on like the, kind of just like the downward spirals, just sleeping with whatever guy she can, and Ashley catches her. And I love that line where it's just, for once in your life, Ashley, just be a human being. Don't tell me to be something I'm not. I just feel bad right now. Let me have this. And that was a really cool moment. Maeve's got to do something in this finale. I'm calling it. She's going to do something crazy. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm expecting she's going to do something crazy. Kind of excited to see what that could be. And the Deep and A-Train, guess what? They're still involved with that collective. A-Train's kind of getting more sold on it. And you kind of like, this also comes to like the idea of like the father figures, and you say like the head of the collective is kind of like a father figure for the Deep, and how he's kind of ushering him into this new identity, telling him who he's supposed to be, how he's supposed to act. We realize that Archer, Eagle the Archer, is, I think, was that his name? The guy that helped the Deep at the beginning. He's saying some stuff about how the collective didn't help him, so now they're kind of kicking him out of their church, and you're like, okay, the Deep's kind of upset about that because it's his friend, but he doesn't say anything because his dad said not to worry about it. And again, there's the father figure coming back. I like that a lot. It still doesn't seem like A-Train's going to be completely sold on what this church is, and I think that's really exciting. I'm very curious about that. And of course, some more stuff with the fathers. Stormfront and Homelander go to visit Ryan. And again, here's Homelander saying, I want to be the father for you. I want to have the perfect family. Even if they don't, I think that's still kind of a curious angle to play. We see that Ryan likes making Lego movies. That's weird. It's cool, but it's weird. What kid just like, yeah, I'm going to make the Lego Blindside or Lego Terms of Endearment movie. I think that's so crazy or so funny. And it's just such a cool moment with Ryan. He's starting to kind of turn to the side of Stormfront and Homelander. And then the big reveal for the end of that storyline is Homelander tells Ryan about the lies his mother told him, and he wants to go off with his dad and his dad's girlfriend. So now I'm led to believe, okay, I see what's going to happen here. Rebecca's going to come back, team up with Butcher to take down Homelander, and there's going to be some closure for their relationship. Maybe they won't completely be together, but there'll be some closure to them loving each other to the point where they can save their son and take down Homelander. That could be really cool and compelling. There's the father taking the kid to do what he thinks is right. A lot of fathers telling their sons what to do in this episode. I think it's really cool. And even looking at the way that when we get to even when we get to the scene in the testimonies, and you come back to the idea of the father with Jonah and Homelander seeing him like, oh my god, Dad, what are you doing here? That kind of a moment. And it's really just interesting stuff. So all of our events here, every storyline that we've been going through has been leading up to this testimony and how we're finally going to take Vought down. And as we get there, Jonah's wheeling in. All of our people are there. All of our main characters are watching it on the screen. And as it's happening, boom, 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 boom. The heads start popping off of everybody in that courtroom. Everyone's losing their heads, and it's insanity. Literal insanity. Nobody knows what to do. Everyone's trying to run away and survive, and everybody's just dying. Jonah dies. Homelander does nothing about it. He's just kind of standing there like, what is going on? We still don't know who killed these people, and it's kind of curious. Who is it going to be, you think? It's got to be Stormfront, right? Stormfront. Giancarlo Esposito's character probably has something to do with it, but I'm just like, this is insane. This is how you end an episode. This is how you end a penultimate episode for a show. You kill off all these people in this horrific way. Nobody knows what to do. The Supes are even more powerful now because of it. I love it. It's so intense. It's a great episode. All about fathers and sons and reconnecting, like not connecting, just having the power of the father tell your son what to do. It's very intense and really cool. We get some great stuff with some fight scenes in it too, like Black Noir and Starlight go at it. And I like that they kind of... she almost dies, but Maeve comes in to stop Black Noir, and we see that underneath the mask isn't what we see in the comic book. So it's like, is that going to go into a new direction now? Are we still going to play up the angle in the comic books or do something new here? It could be really exciting or really different. I'm not too sure. We'll have to wait and see there. But it's a solid episode. I think everyone's going to like it. It's a great penultimate episode. You build up your world a little bit more. You show how the impact of a father and his son is a great relationship to see on television. And a cliffhanger beyond cliffhangers with all our people in the courtroom dying. There goes Jonah. It's intense shit. Very cool stuff. So that is my review of episode 7 of The Boys. It's a little later in the week than I wanted to put it, but I've been sick. I'll just tell you guys, I've been pretty sick. So here it is. Enjoy it, like it, or don't. I don't care. But thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, all that good stuff. I will see you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck. Tsunami Studios.